Namaskaram and hello. I'm Arjun, or you can call me Justin. Om Gam Ganapate Nama Ganesha. Please let me make a good video for y'all. So today, I wanted to talk about my stance on firearms and the Second Amendment, and it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. I am a tremendous fan of the Second Amendment, and I love firearms. And for many stupid reasons, the medical community, especially the mental health community, is very much against it. But that doesn't surprise me, seeing who pulls the strings a lot in mental health care. And the fact is, a lot of people are highly uneducated and misguided on firearms and the Second Amendment. And really, any kind of gun control is against the Second Amendment. That is very clear. It says it right in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. This is something that you cannot mess with. And yet, people do it all the time. So, I'm very much against gun control. And what I am for is responsible ownership and training. And it's actually one of the reasons why I choose not to go live abroad, because I probably would. Again, I've lived abroad many times. People know that. And I don't, because there isn't another country that has I think a couple that have kind of a Second Amendment like ours, but not anywhere close. And I know some people will say that's BS, but no. And a lot of gun violence actually happens. You are more likely to get killed by a knife or by a car than you are by a firearm. And a lot of the politicians that are anti-gun have zero clue. They've probably never fired a gun, and they have bodyguards. So I have no respect for them, especially when they open their mouths and say stupid stuff about guns or gun violence. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, that's not cool. Like, I don't think, Arjun should be a mental health provider. Okay, you can go kick rocks. Seriously. Go kick rocks. Like, I'm not here to appease you or to ease your fears. That's something that you gotta handle. And I bet if you actually went to a gun range where they give instructions, you would change your mind. Because a lot of them, not all, but many of those places, even though they're full of Republicans, are more than happy to show you how to use a firearm and to educate you. No matter who you are, as long as you're being respectful and safe. Most people there are totally they're very welcoming. So I challenge you, go get educated. Go to a firearm dealership where they have a gun range and range safety officers that can give you some education and instructions. I dare you to go do that and see how you feel about it afterwards. So when it comes to, this is the other thing that really upsets me about the medical community, especially the mental health community, is we were trained, at least I was and many other people I know, during your, especially your initial assessment of a patient, one of the things that you're meant to ask, you're supposed to ask, you need to ask really, is, are there any firearms in the house? Why I hate that question is never really was, there was maybe a couple times where people said you should follow up, is there anything that you would use in the house to hurt yourself or others? Maybe a couple times, like an instructor or a boss, maybe a supervisor asked told me to ask that too. Really, it should be plain and simple. You don't specify if are there firearms in the house. You specify, is there anything in the house that you would use to hurt yourself or other people, that you intend to use to hurt yourself or other people. But it's so obvious that they're so anti-gun that's the biggest thing. Guns, evil, bad. But I'm sorry, there are like a million other things that people have accessible to hurt themselves or other people. Glass, silverware, ceramic plates that you can break and have sharp edges, cleaning chemicals, prescriptions, over the counter or prescribed, your car. Are you going to ask each one of those things? Do you have glass in the house? Do you have a butter knife? Do you have a lighter and a toothbrush? Like, people know what I'm talking about with that, but if you know, you know. So it's absurd that you're going to focus on that. And so the reason that I stay here in the US is because that is a right that is worth fighting for. And I am one of the very few loud and proud medical providers out there about it, and that's willing to champion the Second Amendment and fight for it. So, yeah, it is one of the reasons why I stepped away. And, and I stopped practicing for a couple of years. It was one of the many reasons, really. And I'll make a video of that. I know I still have to. But, yeah, that just grinds my gears. And I am a very proud firearms owner, and I carry responsibly and whenever I can. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to tell you, like, if I'm carrying right now or at any other point if you ask me, because that's the point of concealed carry, is that I don't want other people to know, to either make a big deal out of it, or especially someone that intends to do harm. And I don't want to ever, like, have to take a life, but if someone intends to do harm to me or my loved ones or other innocent people around me, like, that's what the Second Amendment's for. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know if there's anything else to say. And if you are a potential future patient and you don't like that, well, like I said, maybe among the many other reasons, you shouldn't come see me because of my views on this, that, whatever. But I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be honest and transparent, because a lot of people lack that these days. And it's so necessary if we want to actually do better as a society, but just even as individuals. So I'm going to be me. And this is what my faith is telling me as a Hindu to do. Be authentic, be genuine, be honest. And if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there are plenty of other providers out there, so I'm sure you can find somebody. But as far as someone that is very genuine about wanting to help other people, like, yeah, I'm rare. And I'm going to be proud of myself for being that way. I just urge you all to really get educated and don't go to clearly anti-gun organizations or representatives, government officials, because they're just going to give you misinformation about all those things. They will. And go to a firearms range where there's safety officers that can take some time to instruct you, educate you. I bet you'll change your mind. Maybe not become like a gun nut, but you'll probably be like, well, and it's exhilarating, especially if you've never really fired a firearm, or it's been like since you were a little kid and you fired your grandpa's rifle. Like, it is exhilarating. And I see a lot of women go into gun ranges not just to learn how to defend themselves, but as like a stress relief. It is. It's a huge stress relief. It's very cathartic. So, but again, please be safe, right? Get educated. Just don't willy-nilly just start buying guns and shooting them. It's the same thing with a car. Like, get educated. And I know somebody's going to be like, well, that's what some gun control is about. It's like, no, because that's a slippery slope. And especially when they want to do certain kinds of registrations. Nope. That is exactly what the Nazis did and disarmed Austrians. And then that's how it started. And you ask Austrians who lived through that, they're like, yeah, like we thought it was, oh, okay. They're just asking us to register. Next thing you knew, they confiscated all their guns so they couldn't take up arms against them. So, yeah, just, I don't think that like mandatory is the way, because then it's going to be, well, you have to have this kind of magazine that carries a certain amount in order to even get training, or you only can buy or use these kinds of firearms. And the thing is, a firearm is like getting shoes in a way, where you have to make sure it fits your hand well, like you can operate all the functions of it safely and effectively, and then manage recoil and accuracy and all those things. It's tailored fit. It really is. It's not like, there are some guns I don't like shooting because I don't like how it feels in my hand, or I just don't like the recoil or whatever else, or it malfunctions a lot. So there are some firearms where I'm not a fan of them, but for other people, it's like a godsend. So cool. If that's safe and effective for you, go with that. So I'm just not a fan of that, but I think it needs to be highly encouraged and recommended anytime someone walks into a firearm store, so you know how to operate this safely and effectively. And then, hey, we provide courses, or here's this place that does training, of course. And then how to safely carry, how to safely store, all that stuff. But the minute that it becomes like controlled, especially by the government, nope, that's not a good thing. And we should have learned from how the Nazis went about it in World War II. So, no. And other governments that have since done that. So, no. Anyways, that's my rant for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it educational, or you resonated with it, or you'll take up the challenge of going to get properly educated and trained, and give it a try. But I would like to have you all like leave a comment if, especially for those that are scared of guns or anti-gun, like, would you be willing to take up that challenge? And if you live near me, I'd be happy to take you to a gun range and give you some instruction. I think that'd be cool, because I'm hoping that like you'll change your mind at least a little bit afterwards. So yeah, DM me, right? If you live pretty close, to Huntsville, Alabama, or a decent drive like Nashville or something like that, like, shoot, I'll probably meet you somewhere and introduce you to firearms and education and all that. I'm not going to buy you anything, but yeah, let's go shooting. Let's get educated. Let's talk about it. And then for the rest of you that are you're not anti-gun. Like, do you think the Second Amendment, leave a comment, do you think it's one of the most important, if not the most important right that us Americans still have? Yeah. So anyways, as always, I wish you the best on your journeys to your higher selves through true healing and true joy. I honestly do. Every single one of you, even the ones that we ain't friends anymore, or you've done me dirty. Like, I honestly do wish that. Okay? So blessings to you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day where you are. Take care.